The variety of types of the fruit of the Mediterranean beauty, the fig, enchants not only gardeners and collectors, but also fruit and flower lovers. But did you know that in addition to transplanting shoots and bending branches, you can still propagate the fig using the Margot technique? So what exactly is that? Margoing is a domestic aerial propagation of some plants, those that can be propagated in this way, and the fig is one of those plants. In this video, we will show you a simple way to propagate figs and other fruits. If you want to propagate a favorite ornamental plant that has woody shoots, then margoing is one of the methods by which you can get a new plant. Find out everything you need to know about growing and propagating various fruits and vegetables on our channel. Follow us and don't miss on any important video tips. Propagation by margoing or air layering is an old Chinese method that is even 4,000 to 5,000 years old. It is based on injuring shoots or branches approximately 30 centimeters below the top bud. It's done from April onwards, after which the place of injury is wrapped with moist peat or moss and wait for the development of new roots. So let's start in order. Choose only healthy and mature woody 2-year-old fig branches that you plan to margot. Next, choose the height you want to get the young plant to. Then you can start. For the process of margoing, you need a sharp knife or even better, a sharp scalpel, kitchen plastic, transparent food film or a bag. You need a tape, scissors, fairly moist soil to which you can add some sand. The bark of the plant consists of the outer bark, below which is the xylem, which conducts the nutrients produced by photosynthesis to the roots. Next is the cambium layer, below which is the phloem responsible for the transport of water and substances dissolved in water. We carefully cut the bark of the plant by making 2 parallel cuts, with which we form a ring around the plant. The distance between the cuts must not be too big, but not too short either. If the distance between the cuts is small, it may happen that the plant doesn't take root in the ground, but repairs the cut and closes the wound. We make cuts with a distance of about 3 centimeters. And after that, we remove the bark between those 2 cuts. As you can see, it is also important to remove the soft, bright part under the outer bark, which is actually the xylem and the cambium layer. The hard part below that is actually the phloem layer, under which is the wood. This disrupts the process of circulation of substances throughout the plant, and it reacts by trying to prevent the original roots from running out of energy, so new roots begin to form in that place. In order for this process to be under controlled conditions, it is necessary to wrap the cut ring with a plastic bag, which we fill with soil for flowers. You need to cut the bag so that both sides have an opening. After that, carefully put the bag on the branch and place it in the desired place. Here you have to be careful not to damage the other leaves on the plant so that it continues to develop. As you have seen, we removed only 2 leaves in the place where we performed the margoing process. Closing the top of the bag is the next step. We tape it and add the soil that we previously soaked with water. It is only important that you glue this end well so that it doesn't fall apart. After we have attached everything well, we start adding the soil. It is necessary to put a sufficient amount of soil in order to develop big and strong roots. In this way, the plant will immediately continue with further development after transplanting. Sometimes it's enough to add water to the soil just once, and sometimes we have to do watering again. You can tie the upper side with twine and occasionally open it every 7 days and add some water. You can also use a syringe to squirt a little water from time to time. Very small amounts of water are needed, so don't overdo it. In order for the root to develop as well as possible, it is necessary to prevent the inflow of light throughout the bag. The bag or PVC foil is wrapped then with aluminum foil to prevent excessive heating, and everything is then tightly taped to prevent moisture loss. One of the simplest and most successful methods for propagating plants is the one that we have just shown you, and it is called margoing. In addition to restoring old plants, it can sometimes be used in the bonsai hobby. It is actually a trick by which we start certain natural mechanisms in the plant. This method of propagation is the fastest during the time when the vegetation is intense. We do this from spring to autumn. After 2 months, we will look under the foil and you should see white roots under the bag. If they cannot be seen, put the foil back and wait a few more days. We need to be patient in this case. It's been exactly 2 months from margoing this fig branch, so we are going to see how it worked. When the roots have taken over the soil in the bag, it is then time to cut and separate the new plant. We will transplant it into a new pot. As you can already see in this video, the margoing process of this fig was very successful. When separating this branch from the main tree, we will use very sharp scissors to make the cut as painless and precise as possible. Now we will cut the plant as close to the roots as possible, and it is now ready to be planted in a new container. This plant can now also be planted directly in the ground, but it is still better to carry out the adaptation process in loose soil in a container. By propagating our plants in this way by margoing, we get a plant whose characteristics are identical to the parent plant. This is the best way to get the plant that we need. Since the weather is hot, the soil dries out easily, so you need to pay attention. To begin with, we will dip the cutting in water to soak it, and the soil becomes wet around the roots. We will slowly unwrap the fig so we don't damage the new roots. As any other propagating procedure, margoing has its advantages and disadvantages. As an advantage of margoing, it can be said that it is a propagation method that is very successfully used in some species that are difficult to root with other methods. Another advantage is that larger seedlings are obtained at the start, in contrast to the generative method of cultivation. Propagation uses simple tools and accessories that are available in garden centers. The disadvantages of margoing are manifested in low efficiency. The method is suitable for a relatively small number of species. On the other hand, in some species, the scarring process is long, the place of injuries is prone to drying out. Regular controls are required. Another advantage of this method of reproduction is that no fertilization hormones are required, only moist soil is sufficient. When planting cuttings in a pot, we can put drainage on the bottom. In this way, we drain excess water into deeper layers. Since we are planting this in the pot only temporary, we won't be using any. In this way, you can also propagate other plants such as ficus, camellia, maple, magnolia, rhododendron, lemons, and so on. For easier planting, cut the excess of the main branch, but be careful not to damage the roots. Use your hands to spread the young roots in the pot on the soil. After that, just add enough soil and water abundantly. Let's emphasize once again, the gap between two cuts across the bark should not be too small because a tree in good condition could close the wound and restore the flow of nutrients. In this case, the roots will not develop. The best height of the ring is 3 to 4 centimeters, on branches up to 5 centimeters in diameter. Cuts should be made with a sharp tool so that the edges are as flat as possible, which reduces the likelihood of rotting or disease. If the edges of the cut are damaged when removing the bark, they should be leveled with a sharp tool and only then continue the process. This method can also be applied to lemon trees and the rooting will be very fast. It only takes a few weeks and the lemon will take root. We tried this process on our lemon tree, so you have already a video about that topic on our channel. This process can also be applied to apple trees, but the rooting process lasts almost half a year. However, it is worth the wait if in this way we will save our old fruit tree, which is dear to us and is already nearing the end of its lifetime. We hope that this method will help you and that you will be able to propagate some fruit or flower trees if you have the need. To support our work, follow our channel, like the video, and write us a comment if you have any questions or just want to say hi. Write to us about your method of plant propagation and innovative ways of growing fruit and vegetables. You can also share our videos on your social networks so many people can use our advice. Thank you for supporting us and being with us, and until the next video, good luck and have fun growing your plants.